we saw times that we tried to take it out on each other or was trying to use something against each other and realized that we did nothing but hurt our kid. And
All right, welcome back, guys, to Cases and Cocktails. This is episode 14, Blended Families and Successful Co-Parenting. I'm Bryan Eggleston. This is my beautiful wife, Janice. We're here today with a team member here at the Eggleston Law Firm. This is Mollee Swoda. Mollee, how are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. How are y'all?
Fantastic. Doing great. You ready to talk a little bit about blended families and co-parenting?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Real fast before we go any further, I want everyone to know we are officially now on all of the audio podcasts platforms, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all the good stuff. So check us out there if you're looking for more content from us. So how are you doing today, Jane?
Good, how are you?
I'm fantastic. We got a great drink today.
We do Tequila Highball. It's got Altasaur tequila, lime juice, sparkling water, and a Tajín rim.
Fantastic. By the way, Altasaur will be one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's why we did it.
That's all right. All right. Now, Mollee, you ready?
Absolutely.
All right. Let's try it. Here we go. Cheers.
That's good.
Yeah, I can. That's what it was like, yeah. All right, I can do that all day. All right, I'm good. I'm good. By the way, too, shout out to Miss Fernanda for doing that drink. She's fantastic. I need to make sure that she knows that we appreciate her. Right. All right. So we're talking a little bit about blended families, co-parenting. This is a big thing that happens throughout most of the cases that we have because a typical case comes in, you've got what would be a nuclear family that's being separated, right? And breaking it up a little bit. And then those families go on, or those pieces go on to create new families often. And so what we do a lot, here at the firm is when you've got these situations where you're introducing new partners, spouses, boyfriends, girlfriends, fiancés, husbands, wives. When you're doing that, we try to help our client not just be successful inside the divorce or the modification of the custody case. We try to help them be good parents and good co-parents because that makes them really good litigants for what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And, obviously our main focus has to be litigation, but we want them to be successful at the end of the case in whatever it is that they're doing. When they're done and we're no longer a part of their story, we want them to have as much information from us as possible to be successful. It's one of the reasons that we have Sandra Aguilar here as a client consultant. She helps with a lot of these issues. A lot of these people going through divorce, some of them have never been divorced before or haven't had to share children with another person. So it's a new experience while dealing with the divorce and all the feelings that come with that. So Sandra does a really good job of providing them with some tools in dealing with that.
Yeah. It's you're 100% right. Like, through the divorce process or the initial custody case, there's a lot of feelings, a lot of emotions that are going on. And it's a difficult thing. And we try to help our clients navigate that. And it's even harder and a lot more emotions and a lot more feelings when you start adding in new boyfriends, girlfriends.
Yes.
And regardless of the feelings, right? There's a better way. There may not be a right or wrong way. There's a better way to handle that. Fair?
Yeah.
And so we've got to come up with examples and we've got to help people with this and that sort of stuff. And it's funny because I don't know about you, but at least for me, sometimes we're talking about this, we're giving examples, and I realize that I'm giving examples of people that actually just work for us.
Like Molly's life.
100%, right? So it's, it becomes a situation where it's like, I'm giving this example, and I'm giving it because we were talking about it internally, right? And you were sharing with the team kind of what was going on with your life, or someone else was sharing with the team what was going on with their life. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to use that in my next phone call because that's correct, So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. We have you here today, Mollee, because of how awesome of a job you do co-parenting.
Thank you.
Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
And I know we told you that in the past and that sort of stuff, but I mean, honestly, you do a fantastic job. And I want to get into that. I want you to tell us a little bit about, before we do, um, first of all, we said thank you. Thank you for coming. I know this is it's your personal life. So we appreciate you sharing that and doing the things. But we also appreciate you coming and telling people kind of your perspective, because we do think you're doing it a lot better than most. Is that fair?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, of course.
I don't want to say you're doing it perfectly, because you're not perfect, but I do want to say you're doing it much better than I think. And the cool part is too, respectfully, and I don't know where you got that, where you figured out how to do it, right? Does that make sense? So I want to touch base on that a little bit. All right. With that being said, can you tell us a little bit about your family?
Yes.
Fantastic.
So my oldest son is 13, um, which is with my ex-husband. We have been separated going on 10, 11 years-ish. I also have a 3-year-old little girl with my current fiance. And he also has 2 boys. His oldest one is, I believe, 11 and 10. So it's a blended family. Um, we
It's a lot.
it it is.
So can I bring it down real fast?
Of course.
So you kind of have 3 different pieces, right?
Yes.
So you were in a previous relationship, and then you had your oldest, right? 13, right?
Yes.
And your his father, right? Your 13-year-old son's father. He's remarried or in a relationship?
He is remarried.
Okay. And so we've got that dynamic.
Yeah.
And then you're in a relationship, right?
Yes.
And y'all've got a 3-year-old, right? She's
She's
I
adorable.
know she's a heartbreaker.
She's
It's fun.
adorable.
She's a heartbreaker, and she's 3.
Yes.
And then your current, uh, your boyfriend,
Fiance.
fiance, my bad.
No.
He's gonna yell at me for that. So your fiance, he's got 2 boys,
Yes.
and from a prior relationship as well.
Yes.
And the boy's mother, right, is in a relationship with someone else.
Yes. Correct.
Okay. So you kind of got there's almost 3 couples, right? There's 4 kiddos, but 3 couples. Is that fair? Okay, fantastic. I appreciate you. And it's important because, we have clients and everyone comes in with different interpersonal dynamics and relationships and that sort of stuff. So it's important. I just want everyone to understand that. So I mean, I think the obvious question is this, right? I mean, do you handle that shit, right? That's a lot.
It definitely is, and I will say, in the beginning, it wasn't the easiest.
Sure.
We did. That was a very young relationship. I was 19 when I had my first son, and so in the beginning, when we separated and had a significant other or introduced, if it wasn't the easiest, it was the drama. Oh no, that's not happening. It wasn't the easiest. And I will say it was probably when me and my ex-husband both met the relationship we're in now.
Yeah.
Um,
That was a catalyst for making it better.
I think so.
Okay. Is there?
It was different.
Yeah, exactly.
What was different about the new relationships? Was it just the seriousness of it, or
It was the seriousness of it, of one, because we both knew that. Um, you know, we both knew that I think at this point after our divorce, this is where we knew we were settling down and we were ready. Um, when seeing my son with her, it was a totally different picture than what you think you would see. You know, being a female and being a mom, you're protective of your kids. Those are your babies, and you want that to be known. But it wasn't like that. My son would come from staying a weekend with his dad and telling me about what him and his stepmom did, and they did this and they did that, and to know how safe my son was in another home with another woman, it makes you look at it different. And it's not about me. It's not about my ex-husband. It's about that kid. And that's where I realized that, I can hate my ex-husband. Like, I can be like, you know what? I don't have anything to say to you. Just no.
Right.
But, that's where it made a difference. And the same with my fiance and my son, seeing him with my kid, and it not him not skipping a beat of how he treats his two to mine.
Right.
And that's where I knew.
Yeah.
And then when our daughter came into the picture, because we had already been together almost 2.5 years, almost 3 years when we had our daughter, it was just like, it didn't skip a beat. Like my ex-husband and his wife, she's went and stayed the night with them. We have our work retreats.
She, being your daughter,
Get
with your current fiance, stayed with your ex-husband and his new wife.
Yes.
That's amazing.
And she loves it.
Yeah.
Like when she sees, like, that's hers. Like when she sees him, like they'll go out and they're shopping and he'll call me, "Hey, what size is Lucille in?" And I'm like, "A 3." Okay, well, I found some unicorn shoes because she's in Europe, and they didn't have her size. So he's telling his wife, "I need you to get on the internet and find these shoes and find her size because I need them now." It's all.
So she's not getting spoiled over there at all.
No, not at all.
I gotta ask, in the beginning, before you'd met your current, both of your respective others, um, what was the hardest part? Like, this is back before it was okay, right? So and you admittedly said you were young, right? It's okay. What was like the hardest part? What do you recall as being the hardest part about it?
Him having a different lifestyle than me.
Yeah.
And things that he might have done that I was like, "No, you're not doing that with my kid."
Right.
But I mean, I knew at the end of the day.
Right.
But that was.
We're not talking about like raising bears or anything.
Oh, absolutely. No, absolutely not.
Just a difference in the way.
Absolutely. But it was, and having to turn him over to him.
Mhm. How did you, I mean, so you were young, this happened. I mean, how did you manage it? Did you have any resources? Were you just winging it day to day?
I just winged it.
Nice.
I just winged it.
Yeah. What was the worst? What, at what time did it become the worst? Right. Was there a moment? Was there like an apex, like kind of it reached a boiling point between the two of you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I would say that worst moment was because at that time we didn't really follow our divorce decree.
Right.
We had, we were at the end of the day, we were still mutual, but I think the worst one was when he asked me, "Can he move in with me?"
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's
And
that. Wow.
that is,
When he asked if your son could go live with us.
yes. And I was like, absolutely not. Like, you would open that can of worms, but that's not happening. But when he officially moved in with his dad was during COVID, because of course everything shut down. But his dad worked for a school district and had the ability to be at home during that time of school because everything was remote.
Right.
And so, he stayed with his dad during the week, so I could continue working and everything. Well, when COVID came back, COVID ended to go back into school, um, Gunnar had sat me down and talked to me and asked me. He said, "Mom, I think I want to try living with my dad."
How did that?
First of all, what did you just ask? I apologize.
How does that make you feel?
Yeah, as well. I wanted to hear how you felt, like not what you did, but how that made you feel.
I was heartbroken.
I can only.
But it doesn't help. I had pregnancy hormones during. So so it was pregnancy hormones. My kid wants to go live with his dad. I was like, "What's next? Oh, what's next?"
Oh man.
What was your response? So your son sits you down to ask you this question. Did you know that was a question and that it was a conversation you were walking into?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Say, what was your response to him immediately?
No.
Right. Okay. That's fair. Like my response was like they had been to sex.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And did you immediately feel like you got set up?
A little bit.
Okay, and I think
A little bit.
I think that's fair, right? Like I don't and I don't want to get into too much of the detail, but I think it's fair. Like there's automatically, because it's your ex, and this is a point of contention, right? That you have that sort of perspective.
And you guys weren't always okay. So you kind of have that in the back of your mind, right?
Yeah.
You flash back to the past and have a little bit of PTSD maybe.
But that's where, at that point, because, he's like, "Mom, hear me out." We had to talk. And I was like, "Okay, we'll give it a shot." And we said, we'll start it with a year. And within that year is when all four of our relationship just skyrocketed.
Fantastic.
So it was your ability to put your kid first, allow him to go live with dad, And so that olive branch probably meant a lot to Dad.
Yes.
Okay.
I got to go back to something. First of all, you're amazing. Let's just start there, because let's get that out of the way. I want to go back to something you said, though. You said we had a divorce decree and we didn't follow it. That's man, you are like 90% of all clients, right? That is, that's something we see often. And we talk to parents about how to navigate that, right? Every divorce decree or a custody case or a custody order, says somewhere in there, more than likely, y'all can do whatever you want so long as y'all agree. But in the event you don't, then you follow this.
You follow the next 30 pages.
Hey, and it's not uncommon, or sorry, it's very common, that, you get people that get that document and then they immediately kind of set it aside and start trying to navigate this. Was that a mutual thing that y'all decided? Was there a reason? Was it just easier for you at that point to set aside what y'all had, ostensibly both of you at some point had, either through an attorney or through friends or whatever, y'all said, this is what we think is best, right? And a judge blessed it and wrote it down. Why did y'all deviate from it?
In the beginning, no, I would say in the beginning we did follow it.
Yeah.
And then it came to a point that we felt that was in the best interest for our kid.
Yeah.
That
To make changes.
Yes.
Okay.
We felt that the possession and access schedule we set up was what was best for him.
Yeah.
That yes, that piece of paper was what, the judge at that time thought was best for him. But once we got to where we are, that wasn't what was best for us and what was best for our kid.
So Gunnar goes over and lives with Dad. And you said that was kind of when y'all's relationship and co-parenting really started to hit the ground running.
Yes.
How did Gunnar do in the transition? How did he feel during the process?
He did really good. It was definitely an adjustment for him because, at the end of the day, mom's house is different than dad's house.
Right.
But, he would still call me every day. He did really good. There was some times that, he'd just call me like, Mom, I miss you. Like, but I knew at the end of the day, that's what he wanted. And I wanted to give him that chance.
Kudos to your ex for letting me call you, right?
Yes.
I mean, how many times we have this situation where they just will not let you, right? The other parent won't let the kiddos call the other parent, right?
Yes.
And, I'll be honest with you, it seems like the two of you reached a point where y'all were on the same page doing the things. I'll be honest with you, I don't think that there's any, I mean, I couldn't think of a better situation. Could you?
No. There's a story about when your fiance was gone and y'all were between places. You were somewhere doing laundry and you told me that your ex showed up. I was like, oh, Morgan's going to flip. And that's really when she was like, no, that's not how we live. And then that was the first time you told me a story and I really had an understanding of what co-parenting could be, because I've literally never seen a co-parenting experience like what you tell me. So if you're comfortable with it, would you tell that story?
Absolutely. So my fiance was on the road. He was truck driving, and we had just moved and hadn't got a washer and dryer yet. So clothes had piled up.
Of course, yeah.
And so I was like, I have got to go to the laundromat. And of course, my ex-husband and his wife was like, you can come to the house
Right.
and, do it. And I was like, I don't think you understand. Like, I got 20 loads.
Yep.
It's like, I'm going to the laundromat. So, of course, my ex-husband was like, well, which one are you going to? And I was like, oh, I'm going to this one. And he was like, okay. So they got with my fiance and he was like, hey, I'm going to go sit up there while they're doing laundry until they're done and make sure, because it was in the evening time.
Right.
And so sure enough,
He called your current fiance just to let him know he was going to do it out of respect.
yep.
That's
And
good stuff.
came and sat up there. I mean, I have pictures of him underneath the folding tables with my fiance's daughter playing Legos, little Barbie dolls.
Do y'all use any type of apps or any type of software or any resources to help y'all navigate the co-parenting stuff? No, that's fantastic.
We actually, our app, and talking is a group text message between all four of us.
Y'all got all between all
All four of us.
That's awesome. That is fantastic.
Well, what do you think sets your family's co-parenting dynamic apart from everyone else's? Obviously, it's better. Right? Yes. But tell me why you think it is the way that it is.
Because we realized that it wasn't about us. That we saw times that we tried to take it out on each other or was trying to use something against each other and realized that we did nothing but hurt our kid. And we could see it.
You can see it.
You can see it in his eyes. And, like he knew
Yeah.
mom and dad aren't doing too good. There's some tension. And that was the point that it was like, look, it's not about you and me anymore. It's about him and everything aside.
What would you say to other people that are in that situation? Like how to, it's not easy when your ex is sticking it to you in a text message or whatever it is, right? They only gave you one shoe back, right? For the kid, right? Tell me what would you suggest, or what would you tell people that are in that situation?
I would tell people that are in a situation that it's not the easiest. At one point, obviously, they were a good person. They were good enough to, have a child with. Give them a chance. Give them a chance. It's not the way you want it to be, but no, at the end of the day, that's their dad. That's their mom.
Yeah.
They're going to protect them at the end of the day, but give them a chance.
When you start getting into a relationship with a new person, did you and your current fiance have a conversation about the co-parenting dynamic? Did you lay down the rules when you met him and say, look, this is how this has to go, or this won't work, or how? Yeah, I feel like maybe that would scare people away. I don't know. But how do you broach that? Because that's a pretty sensitive topic for someone you just start dating.
It is. It was kind of by coincidence. My fiance actually did baseball training for my son. He was doing privates with him. And we had went out to dinner one night, and my ex-husband had called me, and I had my phone attached to my car, and I answer it. And, he just spoke his mind as he does. And, we had our conversation said and done. And he was like, so that's how it is? And I said, yeah. And he's like, oh, okay, I like that.
Right.
So it was kind of easy. It really wasn't like, okay, hey, mine and my ex's relationship is this, like, and then them two, when they met, like it was that relationship's just it's perfect too, unfortunately.
Yeah, that cuts against you, so
Yeah, I'm like, can you not? Like, I'll call my ex-husband's wife and I'm like, hey, I don't want to talk to him. Can we rearrange this schedule or whatever? She's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, cool.
it's better. By the way, too, I've seen photos for kiddo stuff. It's you and your fiance, and then your ex and his partner, and they're all there. All the same day.
Absolutely.
So everyone comes to support the kids for extracurriculars or events.
Absolutely.
100%.
That has to be really impactful for the kids.
And I'm that mom. Birthdays, like I go all out. We got the shirts and everything. Like it's mom of the birthday boy. My fiance is bonus dad of the birthday boy. Stepmom's bonus mom of the birthday boy. Like it's all of us. It's a village, and we do it.
Did y'all have a conversation about titles? I think one of the things that happens and we see often is, my ex has got so-and-so over here wanting to be mommy or daddy or, whatever it is. And it's a difficult thing. And it leads to a lot of other issues, right? Of, kind of a power dynamic and that sort of stuff. Did y'all have a conversation at all? Did y'all talk about that? And you don't have to tell me what everyone calls each other. I don't want to get that personal, but, did y'all talk about it? Is there an agreement or what?
We actually did.
Okay.
My ex-husband actually started that conversation with my fiance
Okay.
and giving pretty much, that's your father figure as your mom's.
Right.
He knows who his dad is. He knows who his mom is.
Right.
But that's why you're with me. That's your figure, and what you're comfortable with.
Right. Okay.
We don't. It's not. Oh, you're gonna call this one that. You're gonna call it that.
Yeah, that's just the kid. Oh, interesting. Okay. But I recently had a case where I had to put language about that in a divorce decree. It had already become a problem with someone that was dating already. And we literally in the decree had to put language about a significant other is, the child. But no one's going to tell the child to call a significant other mom or dad,
Right.
because of how emotional that is. I mean, couldn't imagine my boys or our boys calling someone else mom.
Well, and I think it's interesting too, at the divorce level, they're going through the divorce, already dealing with it. Right. Molly, respectfully, you dealt with that down the road a little bit, right? And it wasn't immediate. So I think that's important though, of how these co-parenting dynamics, they can become a big issue right away, right? Even in the initial divorce or child custody case. Um, all right. Let me ask a couple questions. Eh, So, best part of co-parenting.
The best
Yeah.
part of co-parenting
Yeah.
is how we do it.
Yeah.
Like, everybody. Like, oh, it's so awesome how y'all co-parent. Like, I go to like my ex-husband's family, they invite me and my fiance and our daughter stuff. We go over, we flip-flop Christmases every year, Thanksgivings, and like
Amazing.
his family, like our daughter, his family comes to it. She had a dance recital not too long ago, and my ex-husband's side of the family came and supported and watched her. Like,
That's awesome. All right. I want to say this. Your situation is great. You're fantastic in doing it, and I think you've given some people um, uh, some ideas on ways to make it better, and I appreciate that. I want to talk just real fast. You know, it's not always that way, and no matter how much someone tries, right, the other person may not try, and it takes two.
You can only control half the dynamic, right?
It is. And so one of the things I want to talk about, y'all talked about set aside the decree or the order, custody order you set aside. I think it's important that people know too, and we have clients and we tell clients this often, you know, you got to try to co-parent the best you can. And you can only control yourself in these situations. But the other side is not going to engage, is not going to try to meet you sort of halfway. You do have an order. And that order does outline what you're supposed to do. And so if you can't reach agreements, you should follow that.
absolutely.
The other thing is too, there's tons of resources out there to help you co-parent, right? There's apps, there's parenting coaching and that sort of stuff.
There's co-parenting classes. I know some of the local counties here require you to do a co-parenting class before the judge will sign off on the decree or the custody order.
Exactly. And and it doesn't always mean that you got to spend money. And App Close is an app that you can use to talk with the other parent. It tracks everything. You can do schedules. You can go in there. You can pay each other money that are owed. It can track the reimbursements and that sort of stuff. And it's free, 100% free, and you don't have to worry about it. So those are just things that there's things out there. No matter how hard you try, sometimes it's not going to work. There's things out there to help you. Is that fair?
Yep, absolutely. And I think the key takeaway based on Molly's story is just communication, right? It might not be great right now, but don't burn that bridge.
Right.
And ultimately communicate. If something's important, if something really matters, don't assume that the other side knows. Use words and communicate so that everyone can be on the same page.
Yes. Communication goes a long, long way.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I'll be honest with you, I've enjoyed communicating with you today.
I've enjoyed. Thank y'all for having.
It wasn't so bad.
Not too bad. Not too bad at all.
All right. I appreciate you being here today. Just so everyone knows too, if you call the Eggleston Law Firm, come in, you're more than likely going to talk to Molly immediately. She is the intake manager here. She's fantastic. And don't hesitate to tell her that you saw her here on the podcast. With that being said, that is going to be our episode today.
Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you guys.